You're watching Marin TV.
Well, good evening, everyone, from downtown San Rafael. It's another night of San Rafael Pacific's baseball. Stuart Horn and Alex Swan, your Pacific's broadcasters for tonight's proceedings. The Pacifics are welcoming in the Sonoma Stompers for this, the third of a three-game set, Alex. Pacifics took night number one, 5-4. Last night, the Pacifics seemed off their game a little bit in that 4-2 loss. You know, coming right down to the end, though, the Pacifics still had a chance. The tying run at home plate in the man of Chase Fontaine, who's a power slugger, had a couple of grand slams last year, can go opposite field at just about any time, and that was bottom of the ninth inning. They still had a chance to do it.
And the close that came in, Mr. Jackson Jr., he had some filthy stuff, especially the splitter. Fontaine, unfortunately, went down. But the main point is the Pacifics have had to battle back in both these ball games. They've been down 4-0, so they got to set the table early, get on the board first, and get DeBar a lead.
The Warm Wishes game time temperature at game time, 68 degrees, very comfortable, but we expect it to get very chilly as it has the last couple of nights. A decent crowd on hand, but really nothing like the last couple of nights. The excitement's really been in the air, and the Pacific's players out right in front of us on the first base line are very excited. We'll bring to you now the Marin Link starting lineups. First for the visiting Sonoma Stompers under head coach Ray Serrano. By the way, the Stompers got their very first win in franchise history last night. They'll be sending out Jace Ray and batting first, and he'll be in center field. Matt Marquise will be in right field, batting second, with Steve Renato. Renardo at third base, batting third, and Joel Carranza at first base, batting cleanup. Kyle Jones in left field, batting fifth, with Aritz Garcia at shortstop, batting sixth.
Seems to be an equipment problem.
The DH will be Reed Chenwer, with Gary Stauff catching for the Stompers tonight, and Derek Fox at second base, batting ninth. Ray, Marquise, Renardo, Carranza, Jones, Garcia, Chenworth, Stauff, and Fox. Eric Gonzalez will be on the mound for the Stompers, and we'll bring you his numbers in the bottom of the inning. The defensive set, again, brought to you by marinlink.org. For the San Rafael Pacifics under Dan DePace. Pacifics also 1-0. This is the third game of the season. We'll send Chase Fontaine out to left field. Zach Pace will be in center. And the first-year man of the Pacifics, Charlie Stewart, will be in right. Simon Correa at third base. Evan Boyd at short. David Kiriakos at second base with Johnny Woodard, the big fellow, over at first. Matt Cavanaugh will catch tonight, and on the mound, his very first start for the Pacifics is Nick DeBar. Now, DeBar last year, Alex, sported a 6.71 ERA. He was 5-10, 70 strikeouts against 49 walks. He played in 35 games and started 16 of them. DeBar, a great big right-hander, and he's out on the mound warming up right now.
What you'll see out of DeBar is he's a big sinker baller pitcher. That's his bread and butter. He's got a fastball, a changeup, and a slider to go with it. But the main key for DeBar is keep the ball down in the zone. He's going to pitch for ground balls, and he's got a good battle tonight with Gonzalez.
Let's see if he can raise DeBar tonight.
There you go.
As the Pacifics, coming off that 4-2 defeat last night, they just never seem to catch a groove. Night before, on opening night, that 5-4 victory for the San Rafaels, well, they looked pretty good, and then toward the end of the game, especially in the fifth inning, they really started to pour it on, and eventually took the lead. Of course, Johnny Woodard had a home run that night. Last night, though, the team just seemed sort of flat. Of course, the Pacifics won it all in 2012, taking the championship from the Maui Nikoi Kaika, not in the league anymore, Maui. And then last year, Maui's Nikoi Kaika came back and won everything, paying the favor back to the good old San Rafael. So here's Jace Ray, the center fielder, to lead things off. Top of the first inning, and we're ready for baseball from downtown San Rafael. DeBar, the big right-hander, standing in the sun, high atop the mound. And his first pitch is a fastball, called a strike.
Your security is our key concern. First pitch time, 7:04. Temperature, 64 degrees.
7:04, first pitch. DeBar working quickly to Ray. Slider is low. Call the ball, 1-1. It'll be Ray, Marquise, and Renardo here in the first. DeBar. Oh, a breaking ball. Had him way out in front of it. Ray offers. Strike two. 1-2. Absolutely gorgeous night for some baseball in downtown San Rafael. Pittsburgh Metal coming in for a 3-game set starting tomorrow. 7:05 first pitch. Another fastball. And it was fouled away, hit Kavanaugh. The home plate umpire is going to give Kavanaugh a moment to shake it off.
And Ray just got a piece of that one. And this is a big at bat, because he was the guy who gave Pacifics a lot of trouble as he scored 3 runs last night. He was able to get on base a lot, and he put Conroy in the stretch quite a bit.
1-2 now, top of the first. DeBar comes home, fastball, first base side, foul. And he's looking at the 6th pitch of this very first batter.
And now Ray's seen all of DeBar's pitches in his arsenal.
Jace Ray, the center fielder, stands in, waggles the bat. Here it is. Fly ball to center. Pace comes in a few steps and to his right. And Zach Pace hauls it in, 1 away.
That's how this game gets started.
That's exactly how DeBar wanted to start this ball game, retiring the leadoff hitter, and especially that man, Jace Ray.
Batting second for Sonoma, right field.
So the leadoff batter is retired, and here's Matt Marquise. Marquise, the right fielder. Right-handed batter. This is in the dirt, gets past Kavanaugh. 1-0. Steve Renardo, the third baseman's on deck, here with 1 away in the top of the first. Horn and Swan all season long on Marin TV. DeBar comes home, line shot straight up the middle, and Marquise is aboard with a single to center.
And already DeBar's in the stretch. And he came into Marquise, and he's a good low ball hitter. And he put it back up the middle. Boyd just couldn't get it.
It was just between Boyd and Kyriakos, the shortstop and second baseman, just straight over the bag. And had just enough speed that those two gentlemen could not catch up to it. Steve Renardo now, the third baseman. Batting third, Carranza, the cleanup batter's on deck. DeBar comes home, fastball, called a strike.
And it's important to get ahead of Renato, as he's been seeing the ball very well this series.
Renardo holds the hands very high, throw over to first. Matt Marquise scurries back to the bag. 1 strike on Renardo. Last night, a 4 RBI night with 4 hits for Renardo.
That's a heck of a night.
No kidding. Another throw over to first. And DeBar is totally preoccupied with Marquise and the potential of Marquise running. Still top of the first. One away, one on. Nothing in one. Curveball, foul, third base side. Now DeBar's ahead in the count. Now he can waste a pitch. Let's see if he can get Reynardo to maybe swing at something funky. What do you think here, Alex?
You're right. He doesn't need to come into the zone here, especially how hot Reynardo has been.
Maybe he'll waste one in the dirt. He doesn't want to let Marquise go, and the runner goes. Here's a throw down to second. It's in the dirt. Marquise slides in safely head first.
And that's the fourth stolen base this series for the Stompers, and they've been able to run on Kavanaugh and Boehner.
Boehner, of course, caught 8 innings last night. It was 7. Kavanaugh then came in. Kavanaugh caught on opening night. 1-2 to Reynardo. One away in the dirt. Kavanaugh blocked it. Had to backhand it, but he was able to come up with it and hold Marquise at second base.
That was a good job by Reynardo to lay off. And I don't mean to put that on Kavanaugh or Boehner, because it all comes down to how good the runner reads the pitcher from the mound when they steal a bag.
Patrick Conroy, the starting pitcher last night, has that slow motion to the plate. We talked about it on the air last night. 2-2. Breaking ball. Now they appeal to the field umpire, who says yes, the check swing went around, and Reynardo is out on strikes.
That's a huge out, and Reynardo didn't agree. It was close, but a good pitch from the bar, able to retire a hot hitter.
He checked it. Kavanaugh came up out of the crouch and insisted on the appeal, and the field umpire. The field umpire rang him up. Here's Joel Carranza now. 2 down, man at second. That's Marquise. DeBar looks back at Marquise dancing all over the place. Fastball outside black to the right-handed batting Carranza. Called a strike.
And just like DeBar, who was drafted by the Rays in 2002, Carranza was drafted by the Rays in 2007. And he had 15 bombs for the Alpine Cowboys.
Struck out twice last night, Carranza. Chopper to third. It's going to be a very tough play. It hits Correa right in the knees, and coming around third and scoring easily is Marquise. There's a line shot to third, but that sun is right in his eyes, and frankly, it's one of those plays that just ate him up.
And how big of a factor has that sun been in the early innings for the Pacifics? We saw it against Boyd in the first 2 games, and now Correa. It's very hard to field a ground ball, especially hard hit coming right at you with that sun.
Here's Kyle Jones, left fielder. 1 run in. Carranza with the RBI stands at first. Fastball outside, ball 1. Aritz Garcia's on deck here in the top of the first inning. Just like last night, Sonoma's just pouring it on right out of the gate. 2 hits already and a run in. Jones, the lefty, checks his swing and pops it up foul into the Budweiser third base field box.
Broken glass, fix it fast with Marin Auto Glass.
2 down. Kyle Jones now the lefty. Stands in against DeBar. Fastball is up and away. 2-1. Jones wears 24. Kind of a famous number around these parts.
Certainly is.
For those of you like Willie Mays anyway, DeBar comes home. Fastball is indoors. Had him buckling back now. 3-1. Well, Alex, I have it at 3-1. The scoreboard has it at 2-2.
I think you're right. I got a 3-1 as well.
Okay.
And Jones and Pace both like to wear that number 24.
Well, with good reason, I suspect. Jones, the lefty, stands in. First base side. Ooh, just foul.
That was just foul. That hopped over the bag and landed into foul territory.
Full count now. To the left fielder. DeBar still standing in the sun, but throwing into the shadow. Ray Serrano signaling to the runner over at first. That's Carranza. He goes. Ball 4.
And that was an easy take for Jones. That wasn't really close.
Shortstop, number 2, Aritz Garcia.
So Aritz Garcia now the shortstop batting in the 6th hole with 2 men on and 2 down. 1 run in here in the top of the 1st inning. San Rafael Pacific's baseball. DeBar looks the runner back to second and comes home. Line shot into left. In on it is Fontaine. Carranza is held up at third. Everybody goes back. The throw from Fontaine flies over Kiriakos' head at second base. And luckily, Woodard is there to back him up. And that could have been real trouble. Bases loaded.
That could have been real trouble. That was a huge coaching move by DePace to bring in Fontaine in left field. He knew Carranza didn't have the best speed at second. He was able to hold up and respect Fontaine's arm, and it gave DeBar a chance to go after Chenworth. But once again, the Stompers threatening in the 1st inning. This has been the theme of the series.
2 down, bases loaded now. And Reed Chenworth, the designated hitter. A lefty against the righty DeBar. He looks loaded for Bear. Fastball, inside part of the plate, strike 1. Gary Stauff is on deck. 0-1 to Chenworth. Chenworth, a big tall guy. So's DeBar. Up the middle, it hits DeBar in the foot. Ricochets away, the play to first. In time, got him. Just barely. And everybody, Alex, was sort of in the way of the field umpire, but he called him out, and I believe it on the boom boom play. I think he got the call right.
I think so, too. He just got him, and it's been a great thing to see from not only DeBar, but Chris Rice. The pitchers are athletic for the Pacifics, and he was able to make a big play and just get Chenworth, who was hustling down the line. It's a big out to end the inning.
Very big, considering there were 3 on and a line shot. And the Pacifics were able to hold him to just a single run. And Ray Serrano's out there talking to the field umpire. And if I were Ray Serrano, I would be out there talking to him too, because he had a very tough angle. But it just so happens that from where we sit, I believe he got the call correct. When we come back in the bottom of the inning, it'll be Kiriakos, Boyd, and Orifice right here on Marin TV's coverage of the 2014 Pacifics. We'll be right back.
You're watching Marin TV.
Where's here?
Go, Peter! 10-1. Let's give them back 1 run. But we're going to win 10 for sure.
How do you like baseball so far, huh?
He was hoping to see you.
Go. You can see there. Yay! Good at it. Get it. There. Peter's up.
Go, Peter.
Yay,
Go,
Peter. There he is. That looked outside to me. What do you think, Jasper?
Well, it's a 1-0 ball game. And the Pacifics in the bottom of the 1st inning have a chance to do a little damage right back against the Stompers. Kiriakos will lead off. He takes up and in. Does Kiriakos.
Wilson to the Pacific's first base dugout area, please.
preseason Kiriakos, batting .391. And now he takes a fastball low across the knees. He's up against Eric Gonzalez, who had an ERA of .416 last year with 48 strikeouts and 24 walks. Kiriakos 1-1. Oh, hit him right in the elbow. But that's why he wears the protective gear on that left elbow, the leading elbow. And Kiriakos takes a walk, and that's exactly what the Santa Fe's need, Alex, base runners.
Gonzalez can get a little wild. He had a whip of around 1.5 last year, but his last 6 starts, he was able to win 5 of them, and he went complete game in 4. So he can show good command, and he was getting it together last season for the Admirals.
The Vallejo Admirals, as Alex refers to. Evan Boyd now stands in, and a fastball, and Boyd takes for strike 1. Michael Orifice, a designated hitter, is on deck, and he'll be followed by the big fella, Jay Smooth, Johnny Woodard. Boyd, the lefty, stands tall, and here it is. A breaking ball to third base. It pulls Carranza off the bag ever so slightly, but he was able to come down right on the bag. Advances Kiriakos to second. He was able to hit it over to third. Opposite field, and Boyd is gone. But he does come up with the productive out by advancing Kiriakos to second. So Boyd goes down 5-3, and here's Orifice. 1 away. 1-0. Stompers, bottom of the first inning. Gonzalez, the right-hander, on the mound. Boy, he's been almost strictly fastballs to the first 2 batters and opens up Orifice with a fastball.
Just completely opposite from what Gabriel Garcia was doing last night, starting off the Pacific's hitters with changeups and off-speed pitches.
0-1, Woodard on deck. Gonzalez looks Kiriakos back to second.
Your attention, please.
A little up and a little away, 1-1.
Emma, please head down to the Pacific's first base dugout area for the mascot race. Emma Wilson.
Thursday night, June 5, 2014. Game 3 for the Pacifics. A breaking ball is in the dirt. It gets away from Gary Stauff, and Kiriakos scoots over to third base, and now the Pacifics have a little something going with only 1 out, 2-1 now. That's a huge pass ball. Came out of the dirt. Stauff tried to backhand it and just missed it. And a catcher has got to have the range to be able to scoot over and block that thing and not give the opponent the easy 90 feet. But that's exactly what happened. So now Orifice stands in 2-1 with a chance for a really good chance for an RBI. Here it is. Fastball is very high, 3-1. Well, Gonzalez, I should say, 1 pitch away from facing Jay Smooth with 2 men on. Here it is. Curveball is high, and he walked him.
Went off speed to Orifice, and he was able to take it. And the way Jay Smooth has been seeing right-handed pitching, this is going to be a tough matchup for Gonzalez.
Well, here he is, folks, the big fella. Woodard with an opening night line shot over the right field wall. And that 5-4, a big part of that 5-4 victory. Here he is with 1 down and 2 on. Gonzalez, little cutter taken for strike 1. Kavanaugh's on deck. But right now it's power on power. Gonzalez and Johnny Woodard. Oh, followed it up with some sort of a breaking ball, but apparently was outside 1-1. Woodard last night went 0 for 3 with a walk. Chopper to second, could be 2. Underhanded to second, back end, got him. And Woodard hits into a 4-6-3 inning ending, rally killing double play. When we come back in the top of the second inning, batting for the Sonoma Stompers will be Gary Stauff, Derek Fox, and then the top of the order. Already they're back to Jace Ray. We'll be right back right here on Marin TV's coverage of the 2014 Pacifics.
You're watching Marin TV.
Hi, I'm Graham Hooper.
And I'm Nadia Green.
Welcome to the Pacifics Baseball Game Recap, brought to you by Marin TV and Dominican University.
Today we're recapping the game on Thursday, July 4th, 2013.
The Santa Fe Pacifics saw their home game winning streak broken on this Independence Day game with an 11-3 loss to the Maui Nikoa Ika Ika. The Pacific starter Christian Scholl was on the mound for the Pacifics, but he got into trouble early, especially from Maui's Ray Serrano, who was 2 for 4 against him on the day with 2 doubles. The first came with the bases loaded in the top of the first, scoring 2 runs. In the bottom of the first, the Pacific struck back on Michael Hova's single, scoring Price Kendall, but it wasn't enough. In the top of the second, Scholl contributed to the problem with a wild pitch, which allowed Maui's Jeremy Williams to score from third base, which increased the Hawaiian lead to 5 runs.
A silver lining on Thursday night's loss was the debut by Pacific's newest acquisition, Morgan Mikan. The outfielder from Texas was 2 for 4 with a single to shallow left in the 7th and got his first RBI on a double that scored Danny Gonzalez in the 9th. It always feels good to get your first hit, says Mikan.
But the Pacifics went down 11-3, handing Maui the glory on this holiday classic matchup. That's it for this game recap. I'm Graham Hooper.
And I'm Nadia Green. You can find our live TV schedule online at cmcm.tv/camp.
All right, fans, top of the second inning. Still 1-0 in favor of the Sonoma Stompers. McAlpine's backup catcher, Gary Stauff, will lead off. Thomas McAlpine, who was the starter last night. Stauff debuted as a professional player with the Las Vegas Train Robbers of the Pecos League in 2013. Takes a fastball to Stauff, strike 1. Batted .355. It's pretty strong. Right-handed batter. Ooh, up and in, and caught him on the elbow.
Just like that, Nick DeBar is back in the stretch, and that was tough because it just nicked Stauff.
DeBar still looking into the sun a little bit. Certainly Fontaine and Correa and Boyd and Pace. Stewart's even got it in his left eye out there in right field. The sun's just a bear here at Albert Park. Taken for a strike, 1-1, check it. 0-2. Oh no, what am I saying? 0-1. Because this is Derek Fox. Fouled back to the screen, now 0-2. Jace Ray is on deck. Fox batting in the 9-hole. Got a nice, easy, powerful, level hack, does Fox. DeBar comes home, fouled back to the screen again, and Fox is just barely missing, Alex.
He challenged him right at the belt. And Fox just getting a piece of it, a little bit under it.
Nothing in 2. We'll do it again.
Good time to go to the sinker if DeBar wants to.
He's got a little wiggle room, does DeBar, and here it is in the dirt. Got him swinging. Good scoop there by Kavanaugh. Not an easy play.
For your chance to swing for the fences, be sure you have your parent or guardian sign a participating
One away.
waiver and head on over to Kirby Cove. Now batting for Sonoma, number 99, Jace Ray.
Jace Ray led off the game with a fly ball to Zach Pace out there in center field. Matt Marquise on deck. Left-handed batting. Jace Ray. Stauff, the runner at first, popped up. Center field. In comes Zach Pace. And he's got it. 2 down.
That was a good job by Pace. Calling off Boyd. That's a tough play for a shortstop having to backpedal into shallow center field. Pace can cover a lot of ground. Good play.
Top of the 2nd inning. Still 1-0. Stompers. Stauff led off with hit batter, and then a strikeout by Derek Fox, and then the pop out by Ray. And Matt Marquise comes up. Now Marquise had a single up the middle and a stolen base and a run scored. He's had a busy night already, and we're only in the top of the 2nd, Alex. Ball 1 taken. Ooh, high heat, and he was on it straight back. 1-1.
DeBar's coming at Marquise right at the belt, and he's on it. Got to get the ball a little bit lower.
One to Bar. Again foul, this one to the parking lot. 1-2.
DeBar's keeping the ball up, but he's doing a good job of mixing speeds, keeping Marquise off balance.
Fans, you're watching Marin TV's coverage of the 2014 Pacifics. Live from Albert Park, Stuart Horn and Alex Swan. Matt Marquise, the batter. DeBar, check swing, field appeal, did not go. 2-2.
Just held up there. Good teaser pitch, though, by DeBar, breaking ball just off the plate.
It's Pete's 881 Tailgate Thursday beer mug night here at the ballpark. These are glass beer mugs. Up and in. 3-2. Renardo's on deck, but DeBar would like to end this top of the 2nd inning right here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2nd inning. A lot of deuces across the board. Here's DeBar. Runner goes very high. And the scoreboard said 2-2, but you and I both said 3-2. And he walked him.
It was a full count, and that was another easy take on a 3-2 pitch. Kavanaugh's going to go out and talk to DeBar, and you called it. Renato's on deck, and now he's going to take a hack with runners in scoring position, and he's killed the Pacifics in this situational hitting.
Marquise to first. Stauff over to second base. Renardo struck out swinging back in the 1st inning. Renato, the 3rd baseman, had one of those great career nights last night with 4 RBIs and 4 hits. Fastball is a called strike. Carranza's on deck. Renato batting in the 3-hole. So DeBar's got to approach him with care. 0-1. DeBar steps off. Now he toes the first base side of the rubber. Renato holds the hands high. Little off speeder is a little too high. 1-1.
Renado's got a good eye, but I like DeBar going right after him with hard stuff, back-to-back fastballs.
1 run, 2 hits and an error for the visiting Sonoma Stompers. No runs, no hits, and 1 error for the Santa Fells. Here's DeBar, cued to first base. Woodard will take it himself, step on the bag, and that ends the threat. 3 unassisted. I guess the good news there for Pacific's fans is that Joel Carranza was left on deck.
Yeah.
Carranza, of course, the slugger in the cleanup spot. In the bottom of the 2nd inning, Matt Cavanaugh will lead things off for the Santa Fe Pacifics, followed by Zach Pace and Chase Fontaine, right here on Marin TV's coverage of the 2014 Pacifics. We'll be right back.
So we'll take a little infield, they'll take a little infield, and we're ready to go.
Absolutely.
44 ounces, 10 ounces lighter than, or heavier than what the MLB players use. Yeah, so you make solid contact with both going on.
Do you have a favorite?
Yes.
Which one? Are they all the same though?
They're all pretty close. Some of them don't have knobs, you can see. Some of them are a little lighter.
Uh-huh. Got it.
Sweet, that's the old stuff, right?
Yeah.
You're watching Marin TV.
Matt Cavanaugh will lead things off for the Santa Fells here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Still a 1-run game. Stompers putting the ace up on the board in the 1st. And the Pacifics were only able to muster a single base runner. First pitch swinging, and Cavanaugh unloads into left field. A base hit.
Cavanaugh not wasting any time, saw a pitch he liked, right belt high, able to go opposite field for a base hit, got the leadoff hitter on, and that's big for the Pacifics to get going, set that trend.
First hit for the Pacifics tonight off of Gonzalez. Here's Zach Pace. Pace, who's been the center fielder for the Santa Fe since day 1. Now in their 3rd season. Fastball is low and in and called a strike. It was a nice pitch by Gonzalez. Chase Fontaine's on deck. Nobody out. Cavanaugh at first. Gonzalez, the right-hander. Oh, breaking ball is very high. 1-1. Pace, the fan favorite, stands in. Second base side, double play ball again from Fox, underhanded to the covering Garcia, onto Carranza, a double play, the 2nd of the game. That is, wait a minute, Pace is safe on the back end.
And
all right.
A big part to that was how hard Cavanaugh went into second base.
So Cavanaugh goes in with the, well, let's say he went in hard. I was going to say he went in with the spikes up, but he did whatever he needed to do to break it up. And Pace is safe at first. Here's Chase Fontaine. Fontaine, opposite field power guy. And Gonzalez opened him up away. And I wonder if he realizes that Fontaine's power is away. Runner goes, and Fontaine murders it down the third base line, but foul. 1-1. Fontaine also a 3-year Pacific. Charlie Stewart's on deck. One out here in the bottom of the 2nd. Gonzalez looks Pace back and throws over. Pace dives back in safely. Here it is, bottom of the second inning, and Pace's entire uniform is covered in dirt. And it's just the way he plays. Plays hard always. Gonzalez now. Slowly to the belt. Here it is. Breaking ball is way outside. 2-1.
So he starts Fontaine away and comes in, goes away again. And Fontaine's just waiting for something to jump on.
1-0 Stompers. 2-1 delivery. Oh, fastball just blew it by Fontaine. Hard to catch up to it. 2-2. Fontaine's capable of the long ball. He almost always hits it hard. Here it is. Another breaking ball way outside. Pace has second stolen. Got a great jump, and Pace is just quick to begin with.
He picked a perfect pitch to go on. The curveball away.
The big curveball away. It was a good throw by Stauff, but Pace is just tough to get. So Pace has it stolen. And Fontaine now has the count full. Stewart on deck. Fontaine now has a runner in scoring position. Fastball is fouled out onto Anderson Drive. Seventh pitch of the at-bat to Chase Fontaine. Bottom of the second with one away. Here it is. Sharp grounder over to second. Derek Fox to his left scoops it up. And Fontaine is gone, but at least Pace advances to third.
And he went right after Fontaine. And that's one player that will start to get going for the Pacifics. It's only a matter of time until he starts swinging a hot bat.
Charlie Stewart now, first-year Pacific, first AB of the night, with a chance to knock Zach Pace in from third. He takes up and away. Ball one. Simon Correa's on deck and then the top of the order. But 2 out here in the bottom of the second.
RBI chance for the rookie.
Gonzalez delivers a fastball a little bit up. Stewart fouls it away. 1-1. Game is exactly 40 minutes old now. Both pitchers throwing a lot of pitches. Curveball. Back to Gonzalez. He has it on a hop and easily over to Carranza. To end things, Charlie Stewart goes down 1-3. And the Pacifics just simply could not get that runner in. We'll go to the top of the third inning. And when we come back here on Marin TV, it will be Joel Carranza, Kyle Jones, and Aritz Garcia. 1-0 Sonoma on Marin TV's coverage of the 2014 Pacifics. We'll be right back.
No talking to the third today at all, okay? It's a tight game, let him make the calls. 2, when we're at the plate, aggressive, think your swings to right center. We get full happy, we hit ground balls, we make outs. Right center, drive the ball hard, aggressive on the base paths, we've seen what it can do, and just play smart. Play like we've been playing the last couple of weeks. Good D, no extra bases, no wasted throws.
Aggressive on the base paths, and look, you don't even have to think that hard about right center, just wait. Just hold back that extra, beat before you swing.
Slow infield, so
and outfield, right? Muddy.
So particularly, I think the person that impacts the most is the pitchers. You're so used to having plenty of time, you never react. Like as we saw last week, if it's a slow dribbler, you gotta go get it. Okay. Yeah.
You're watching Marin TV.
Well, we've reached the top of the third inning.
First baseman, number 7.
Horn and Swan here, the
Carranza.
2014 Marin TV Pacific's broadcasters. Still 1-0. And on the play-by-play is the Swanee, Alex Swan.
Thank you, Stu. And it's going to be DeBar facing Carranza. And the first pitch is a fastball high and away for ball one. And Carranza is a .355 career hitter, and he's got good slugging numbers. 1-0. As that one's chopped to Correa. Long throw across the diamond, and it's 1 away in the inning as Carranza is retired.
Now batting for Sonoma, 24, Kyle Jones.
And so now that's going to bring up the left-hander Kyle Jones. And in his last at-bat, he was able to draw a walk from Nick DeBar. 1-0 Stompers on 2 hits. As DeBar's first pitch is grounded up the middle. Kiriakos to his right. The throw to first got him just in time. And on one pitch, there's 2 away for Nick DeBar.
Now batting for the Stompers,
Kiriakos,
number 2, Aritz.
first-year man with the Pacifics, and he's just superb out there with the glove work.
Great footwork, great glove. And here's Aritz Garcia in the 6-hole as he slapped the single into left. 2 down in the inning. DeBar has a strike on the outside corner. 0-1 to Garcia. And a strike hit the knees. A good sinker there from DeBar. 0-2 to Garcia, and he's got to step out and think about what is DeBar going to be coming at me next.
I watched that pitch on the TV monitor here, Alex, and it looked a little low and away. But DeBar got the call, and he'll take it.
0-2 to Garcia is high and inside. 1-2. DeBar retired Carranza on a ground ball to Correa. Jones followed that up. The ground ball up to middle to Kiriakos. 1-2 to Garcia in a half swing. He went around. They're going to say he got a piece of it. Foul ball. 1-2, just staying alive on an emergency hack.
I think he's staying away from the right-handed batting Garcia because of his respect for Garcia, since he's killed one into left field his last time at bat.
Garcia certainly a good pull ball hitter. DeBar ahead 1-2. And a fastball is away. 2-2.
We're just feeding him a healthy, steady diet. Away. Low and away, up and away, low and away, and then up and away again.
2-2 to Garcia. And a cue shot foul as DeBar went right after Garcia.
I think DeBar missed. It was too good.
I think he missed location too.
Yep.
Came out over the plate.
You know, the Pacific's general manager, Mike Shapiro, talks about all the positions for location. And when it's dead in the middle like that one, the pitcher missed.
And when you're pitching for ground balls like DeBar, it's huge. 2-2. Garcia hits one high into foul territory. And that's going to go into the seats as Woodard gave chase. And they'll do it again. Garcia, tough at bat. Two down in the inning. DeBar trying to get out of here without surrendering a base runner. And he gets a sign from Kavanaugh. And it got Garcia up and in as that fastball got away, and Garcia is aboard. with 2 down. That's DeBar's second hit batter of this ball game, and that's going to bring up Reed Chenworth. He's DHing tonight in the 7 hole, and he has been the cleanup hitter for the Stompers the past 2 games in this series.
Now batting for Sonoma, 39, Reed Chenworth.
Garcia barely flinched, but I could hear it up here and really sounded like he nailed him.
So DeBar's in the stretch with 2 down. And the runner goes. In a swing and a miss, a throw down to second is not in time as it got away from Boyd. And Garcia's got a stolen base.
Boyd put the swipe down, but didn't have the ball in glove. He may have had the tag down in time. It was going to be very close, the speedy Garcia.
So now he's in scoring position. 0-1 to Chenworth. And another swing and a miss as DeBar's got ahead of Chenworth 0-2. Chenworth with good power. This is the first game of this series. He hit one to deep center right in front of the 370 sign. 0-2. 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd. And he got him. 3-pitch, see ya. Chenworth is down, and for the first time in CMCM TV history here, Scott Calhoun is going to try a replay here. We're going to get you that, of the strikeout on Chenworth. That was a good breaking ball. Down in the zone.
It really was, and it was a good time to do it. Boy, I can't wait for the replay. The very first one ever. Here comes the replay.
And thank you to all the great people at Redwood Credit Union, with 18 locations to serve you, including San Rafael and
We'll go through this again. This is Chenworth's 3rd strike. Here it is. Ah, beautiful. I liked it more the second time.
I did too. That was a great angle.
1-0 Sonoma on Marin TV's coverage of the 2014 Pacifics. We'll be right back.
Marin TV is made possible by the generous support of Good Earth, dedicated to the health and sustainability of our community since 1969.
Here from Albert Park, bottom 3 is the first pitch.
Now batting for your Pacifics, number 1, David Kiriakos.
And a strike on the outside corner. Good paint there by Gonzalez to even the count at 1. Sinker low. 2-1. And you saw 2-0 on your scoreboard. Now it's 2-1. Here's the pitch, and that one's rifled foul down the right field line to even the count at 2. One down. Correa grounded out to Fox. And here's the 2-2 delivery from Gonzalez, and that one is hit high into center field. Ray is under it. He'll put it away for 2 outs in this inning. And that's going to bring up Evan Boyd, who grounded out to the third baseman, Renato.
17, Evan Boyd.
And Kyriakos is feeling like he just got under that one. Gonzalez trying to maneuver the C's with no damage. Boyd, on the other hand, for the Pacifics, trying to create a 2-out rally. Here's a first pitch and a swing and a miss as a changeup was down at the knees. Oh, 0-1 to Boyd. And up and in, and that nearly hit Boyd. And a fastball at 1-1. And that pitch just missed off the plate, as Gonzalez wanted that one. 2-1 to Boyd. And a slider is down. Misses for ball 3. And Boyd's going to try to get on for Mike Orphis, who is on deck. 3-1 pitch to Boyd. Is across the plate for a strike. And the count will run full. Gonzalez trying to get out of here. Boyd's trying to get on base. Here's the payoff pitch. And a curveball. Got him. Froze Boyd. He went off speed. Got to tip your cap to Gonzalez. No runs, no hits. We're going to the top of the 4th. The Stompers will have
real estate brokerage in the North Bay and is a proud sponsor of the San Rafael Pacifics and of our local schools. When the Pacifics score, our schools score.
Stauff, Fox,
and Ray.
That's right.
Thank you, Stu.
Now we're also going to go back to our
gonna need
instant
another
replay.
replay?
Yeah.
The best real estate company in Marin, 4 years in a
Here
row.
it is. I don't know if I want to see this one again. This is the strikeout of Boyd. Oh, yeah, that was a nice looking pitch right there. The instant replay is just, it's practically instant. And it looks great. All right, fans, when we come back, let's see, where will we be? We'll be in the top of the 4th inning. It's still 1-0 in favor of the Stompers. You are watching Marin TV's coverage of the 2014 Pacifics. We're right back.
Marin TV is made possible by the generous support of Tamalpais Union High School District Community Education.
Well, it's still 1-0.
Leading off for the
Nothing is left since we went to commercial, or nothing has changed, I should say. Top of the 4th inning, Hornets won. 4th inning brought to you by Next Hair Studio in downtown San Rafael. That's on G Street between 4th Street and 5th Avenue. Top of the 4th, Gary Stauff. Hit by a pitch back in the 2nd inning. Stranded at second base. And the first pitch from DeBar is a ball. Stauff, Fox, and Ray for sure here in the 4th. This is fouled first base side, not a play. DeBar misses up and in, just barely. 2-1.
And McAlpine is the big, stocky catcher for the Stompers, but when I was watching Stauff take BP, he was hitting it pretty hard.
And he hits this one very hard over to second. Kyriakos gets in the way of it. gloves it to Woodard. 1 down.
Now batting for Sonoma, number 6, Derek Fox.
Strikeout victim. Last time up, Derek Fox, batting in the 9 hole. With that tremendously wide stance. Fastball is up and away.
Hi, I'm Amy G. Go Pacifics. And when you need suspended acoustical ceilings,
I'm going to track Fox through this season to see if he ever hits a home run with that stance.
We were talking about it last night. It seems impossible to load for power. Chops it over to Kiriakos. Has it on 2 hops. And even with the great speed of Fox, Kiriakos is able to range to his left to make the play. 2 down.
So more work for Kiriakos, and DeBar has really settled down here after giving up the first inning run.
Leadoff batter is Jace Ray. Been up twice, and both times fly ball to center field. Both times into the glove of Zach Pace. Two down, and the fastball across the knees, outside part of the plate.
Perfect pitch.
DeBar gets the call. Strike 1. Matt Marquise on deck. Oh, great sinking, nasty little breaker there. 2 strikes on him. Just had Ray completely frozen. He backs out. Opens the stance a little bit. Maybe to protect. Nothing in 2. In the dirt. 1 and 2.
All off-speed pitches to Ray, and he's really got to think about this at bat. DeBar's been pitching him tough.
Tailgate Thursday out here at the ballpark. They had happy hour and bands, all kinds of great stuff before tonight's game. Left field and deep. Fontaine on his horse. Fontaine to the wall. Foul. Just barely.
Oh, man. That's what I was thinking. Just barely foul. And with the speed of Ray, he was thinking 3, if that was fair. And I like what Kavanaugh's doing here to go talk to DeBar.
By the time Fontaine caught up to it, Alex, way out there in the corner, Ray was already to second base and maybe even beyond.
He's got great speed.
Yeah.
He took 2 bags last night.
Couple steals last night, couple of walks. It's one of those leadoff batters, very pesky to the opposing teams. And that's what you want out of your leadoff guy. Sharp ground ball into right field, and that's a base hit. So Ray 1 for 3 on the night. Extends things for Matt Marquise. Marquise with a single up the middle back in the first, and a stolen base and a run scored. He was walked in the second inning and stranded at first base. 2 down, a man on. DeBar fires over to first. And Jace Ray is back safely.
You got to be thinking Jace Ray is going to want to try to take a bag here with 2 outs.
Yeah, Matt Marquise, the only runner to score in this game so far, 1-0 Stompers. Next pitch is away. And Marquise ahead in the count, 1-0. Big slugger Renardo's on deck. Fastball, just power on power, 1-1.
Going above the hands there was DeBar. Got Marquise to chase. He likes the high fastball. Couldn't catch up there.
DeBar working quickly. Likes the sign from Kavanaugh. Ooh, threw it over to first, and Woodard applied a low tag and just barely back in time as Ray.
I think Ray might have been caught off guard. That was nonchalant, getting back to first.
Yeah, I agree with you. Here's the pitch. Foul tipped into the glove of Kavanaugh. 1-2.
So back-to-back pitches. DeBar has gone up by the letters, and Marquis hasn't been able to touch it.
One-two delivery. Ooh. 2-2. Very close. Very close. I don't think DeBar liked that last call.
Close pitch.
Doesn't like the first 3 pitches suggested by Kavanaugh. And now he's ready. Fastball got him swinging.
He wanted the sinker, he got it.
Marquis goes down swinging. And we'll go to the bottom of the 4th inning. And it will be Michael Orifice and Johnny Woodard, followed by Matt Kavanaugh. Now, fans, keep an eye on things because we're going to see this instant replay brought to you by Marin TV. And here it is. Let's relive this wonderful moment against Matt Marquis. Here's DeBar preparing. Of course, it was 2-2 at the time. And we all know what happens next. The slider drops right out of the zone and got him again.
How about that? All strikeouts for the replay.
Yeah, it's not bad. All right, fans, when we come back, the Pacifics got to get a little work done. It's 1-0 Sonoma.
You're watching Marin TV.
He took a couple pitches, and the count is 1-2. Johnny Woodard's on deck, and then Matt Kavanaugh. Marin TV's coverage of the 2014 Pacifics, and Orifice rips one up the middle for a base hit. And could that be the spark for the Santa Fells?
They got another leadoff hitter on, and Orifice not doing too much, just going right back up the middle.
Johnny Woodard, second AB of the night. The big fella, Jay Smooth, hit into a 4-6-3 double play last time. Woodard stands in, and a sinker is swung on and missed for strike 1. Kavanaugh's on deck. Nobody out here, bottom 4, 1-0 Stompers. Gonzalez delivers low, 1-1. Oh, fouled away, and Alex, that was Tater City right there. That was just what Woodard dreams about. I think it was a mistake. It was a bit hanging.
T-ball location.
Completely. 1-2. Here it is. Ooh. Good pitch. Call the ball. 2-2. One nothing Stompers. Here it is. The big fella takes full count. Good eye. From here, from our vantage point up the first base line, that looked perfect, but apparently a little bit outside. Gonzalez looks out of the corner of his left eye. Runner goes. blooped first base side and just foul. Boy, it landed fair, but then spun hard right. And Woodard's alive. Kavanaugh's on deck. 4, 5, 6 hitters here. Gonzalez throws over to first. Orifice is back. Orifice opened up this bottom of the 4th inning with a line shot up the middle. Full count to the big fella. Outside, walked him.
Great at bat by Woodard. Took a couple close pitches, and now there's 2 on, and Kavanaugh's been hot.
Now batting for your Pacifics, 28, Matt Kavanaugh.
Matt Kavanaugh, his second at-bat. Had one of the Pacific's 2 hits tonight. The shot in the left field. And back in the 2nd. We're in the bottom of the 4th now. 1-0, nobody out, 2 on. Kavanaugh, left-handed batter. Just looking to hit and advance. Orifice from second. Here it is. Breaking ball. Called a strike.
And you called it perfectly. It needs at least a productive out to advance the runners, if at minimum.
Zach Pace on deck. Kavanaugh behind in the count, 0-1. Still nobody out with 2 on. Waggles the hands high. 2 looks back from Gonzalez. He golfs one over to second. Derek Fox decides to go the short way. And at least Kavanaugh is able to advance the runners. Orifice to third and Woodard to second. Kavanaugh goes down on the fielder's choice 4-3.
And it gives Pace a shot to tie this game.
It's for the first out. And Pace comes up with a chance to tie it. This low-scoring affair, and out to the mound is Ray Serrano. You can see Ray Serrano with his hands on his hips there, the manager of the Stompers. Serrano took that managerial job just days before the start of the season, having gone through spring training as a player, in fact.
As the Beaver, Jerry Mathers will be in the ballpark.
From what you and I have both seen, he's done a great job in the first 2 games as the Stompers manager.
Totally intense. You're absolutely right. He lost a close one night before last. Beat the Pacifics last night for the first ever Stompers victory in franchise history, 4-2. And Zach Pace now. Who was caught on his way to second base on the ground ball by Chase Fontaine back in the 2nd, has a chance to tie it. Pace takes outside, ball 1. This is a big at-bat for both Pace, the Pacifics, and Gonzalez. Orifice over at third, Johnny Woodard at second, Pace up in the count, 1-0, 1 away. In the dirt, 2-0. Pace, one of those guys, very patient.
He's going to stay in his zone, and Renato's really creeping in at third, right on the edge of the infield grass.
Pace never minds taking a walk. It's as good as a hit, especially when you have Chase Fontaine on deck. Now he takes a called strike, and Pace looks back at the coach. He doesn't like the call at all. Pace takes a walk, way away from the hitting area, to gather his thoughts or perhaps to bury them. Pace now 2-1. Fontaine is on deck as mentioned. Here it is. Oh, big breaking ball, had him frozen 2-2. Boy, what a beautiful pitch. Just gorgeous. Gonzalez just poured it in there, Alex.
Just froze him.
2-2. Here it is. He reaches for it and bloops it towards shallow left. Backing up is Aritz Garcia, and he's got it. 2 down.
And that's a huge out for Gonzalez. Runners stay put. Now it's up to Fontaine to try to pick up his fellow teammate Zach Pace.
So Pace goes opposite field, but just couldn't get it over Garcia out there short. And here's Fontaine with runners at second and third. Gonzalez got out of a big jam right there. Well, he's not out of it yet, but getting past Zach Pace, his crafty hitter Pace, especially with runners in scoring position. Chase, Fontaine with a grounder back in the second, over to second, and was thrown out by Fox. He takes a changeup for strike 1. Charlie Stewart's on deck here, 2 down.
Fontaine is due right here.
Fontaine has a lot of power away. And he pulls it to Fox at second, who bobbles it but stays with it and throws Fontaine out. And there goes the threat by the San Rafael Pacifics here in the bottom of the 4th. Alex, they just couldn't make it happen.
That was big, and Gonzalez was able to somehow get out of that jam. The Pacifics needed to at least try to get one to tie, and they couldn't do it.
I'm waiting for the instant replay, and here it is, everybody. And there it is again. And I didn't like it that time either. For Sonoma in the top of the 5th inning, it will be Steve Renato, Joel Carranza, and Kyle Jones. 1-0 over the San Rafael Pacifics. We'll be right back.
You have all your good players?
Most.
Who's missing?
Well, we had a guy last year, Grit, who came up from New York. He played with us, and he pitched. He really helped out. We'll see.
This looks sort of hazardous right here, doesn't it? Jeez. I can depend on you to catch this, right?
Yeah.
Whoa, jeez. So do you guys ever practice?
Before the season, yeah.
I see. I don't think I'm going to stand here too much longer.
I'll stop.
You're watching Marin TV.
DeBar's ready at the mound. He's only given up the 1st inning run. First pitch to Renato is on the inside corner for strike 1. Good frame job there by Kavanaugh helping out his pitcher. And Renato is not the type of hitter to swing first pitch. And a sinker high up at the letters to even the count, 1-1. Sun is starting to set in the backdrop as these stadium lights are going to be set to turn on pretty quickly. And this one's hit hard to Kyriakos. He's got it on a couple hops, and he retires Renato for the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up Joel Carranza, who's got the lone RBI for the Stompers, a base hit to left field, and that scored marquee in the 1st inning of this ball game. As DeBar went after Renato, and he'll do the same against Carranza. And there's a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. DeBar doing a nice job painting the corners. He's done well to get ahead of hitters tonight. Trying to get through 5. 0-1 to Carranza. And this one's rifled right at Kyriakos. More work for the second baseman. And there's 2 down. And Carranza hit that one on the screws. And now it will be Kyle Jones, the left-hander, with 2 down in the inning. First pitch to Jones is hit hard in the center field. Pace on his horse, and he makes the catch. Zach Pace runs it down in center field, and this is going to be a play worth seeing on the replay. As Kyle Jones hit that one hard, but Pace was able to run it down in the alleyway.
This is going to be a good one on the replay. I like this new replay feature.
Yeah, first time.
First time ever. It's working beautifully. But this one by Pace is going to be a great one. I suspect they'll go to it any moment now. Here it is. Get a chance to see Zach Pace do what Zach Pace does. Oh, come on, get the camera on him. Well,
we saw it.
The replay didn't do it justice, but it was a great play by good old Zach Pace.
Stewart will lead things off for the Pacifics. We're going to the bottom of the fifth. It's Horn and Swan on CMCM TV.
For the past 4 years, the Community Media Center of Marin has brought the politics to the people.
This is a terrific opportunity for all of us, but more importantly, it's a great opportunity for an informed citizenry.
I want to take your stories and your feedback back to me so I can continue doing that work in Washington.
I think that as a community, you should go big. You should have a big vision.
We're talking about good, solid, efficient services for our residents. That's the thing most people are interested in receiving.
Open, transparent government.
Supervisor Arnold and I have been very actively engaged at the state level.
Transparency in government is really important and really crucial, and yes, I think it's a no-brainer that we need to reaffirm that.
It's engaged students with relevant broadcasts and programs.
My TED Talk today is about how I found my creative voice.
I'm now joined by another member of the Marin TV broadcast crew, Randy Shapiro. Randy, how are we doing tonight?
And it's trained a diverse array of residents to make their own media.
May Madness that we enjoy when the cars come out of the garage.
Well, I enjoy it, yeah. And there's beautiful ones everywhere down here. People should come down and see these things every year. It's a lot of fun.
We just want to promote the healthy aspect of our older adults.
Bottom five here from Albert Park is Charlie Stewart, the rookie for the Pacifics. He's filling in for Mike Kelhova, and he takes a strike. Second pitch was way inside and almost got Stewart. 1-1. And so far, Gonzalez has had that one tough inning. In the fourth, he got out of it, and since then, he's been cruising. 1-1 to Stewart is fouled away. 1-2.
He's lucky he didn't get hit because it's starting to cool off out here, and this would not be the time of night that you want to get smoked in the knee.
And the 1-2 to Stewart is way outside. An easy take, 2-2.
59 degrees currently.
Oh, man. It drops quickly. 2-2 to Stewart. Curveball fouled away.
Just missed it. He waited nicely on that breaking ball and just couldn't square up on it.
Gonzalez and Stewart will do it again. And this one's off the bat to Renato at third, and he retires Stewart for one down in the inning. And Renato, he doesn't play very close to the line, and that enables him to get those balls ranging in towards the shortstop Garcia's territory.
You know, that was between third and short, and as a third baseman, you're always taught to take anything you can get, even if you have to cut off the shortstop. And that's exactly what he did. He kind of came in on it, ranged to his left.
So now here's Correa, and he hits a shot right at Carranza. And he'll put Correa away on one pitch. And there's two quick outs in the bottom of the fifth. And so now it will be David Kiriakos. He flied out to Jace Ray, his last at bat, and he was hit in his very first appearance in the bottom of the first. Gonzalez and a breaking ball low. 1-0 to Kiriakos.
Shout out to Kay Horn, a big Pacifics fan, recuperating in Sausalito.
And a strike across the plate.
Bouncing back from an illness. She'll be back out of the ballpark. Back at bocce ball next Thursday.
We wish her well.
Yep.
1-1 to Kiriakos in the dirt. 2-1. Pacific's trying to get a 2-out rally. If Kiriakos can get on, there's a chance he could definitely snag second. Gonzalez deals, and this is off the end of the bat. Charging is Garcia. Tough play. Just got Kiriakos by a half a step. 1, 2, 3 for the Stompers. Top of the sixth. Morin is going to be coming back. It's going to be Aritz Garcia to lead it off. And I believe we're going to see that one more time.
You know, even though it's a Stompers play, it's absolutely worthy of the replay. Let's see if we can get it on replay. I'm sure we can, but, you know, I was thoroughly impressed with the infield work by the Stompers there in the bottom of the fifth inning. And here is our instant replay brought to you by CMCM. There it is. Kiriakos fisted it towards short. And Garcia was able to come up with it. We're going to the top of the sixth inning now, fans, and it's still 1-0, Alex, after all this time. All the way back in the first inning, the one run was scored. And since then, everybody's been quiet. Can the Pacifics do something wonderful and get that run back, or maybe even more? They want to bounce back from that 4-2 loss last night. When we come back, we'll have it for you in its entirety right here on Marin TV's coverage of the 2014 Pacifics. We'll be right back.
Seeing what it can do. Just play smart. Like we've been playing the last couple of weeks. Good D, no extra bases, no wasted throws.
Aggressive on the base paths, and look, you don't even have to think that hard about right center. Just wait. Just hold back. Extra, beat before you swing.
Slow infield.
And outfield. Right field's muddy.
So particularly, I think the person that impacts the most is the pitchers. You're so used to having plenty of time, you never react. Like, as we saw last week, if it's a slow dribbler, you gotta go get it. Okay. Yeah.
You're watching Marin TV.
Aritz Garcia will lead things off for the Stompers, 1-0. It'll be Garcia, Chenworth, and Stauff. Nick DeBar with that 6.71 ERA from last season. 5 wins and 10 losses, still on the mound for the Pacifics. He delivers a fastball, taken for strike 1. Garcia, Chenworth, and Stauff. Top 6. There we go. Back to the field. Next pitch by DeBar. Check swing, definitely went around. Strike 2. Went way around. That I could see from here. We sit out on the end of media row here at Albert Park, just above the Pacific's dugout. DeBar working quickly, ahead in the count. Sharp line drive up the middle. Diving for it is Boyd. He can't get it. And Aritz Garcia has himself a hit. His second hit of the night, in fact.
Now batting for Sonoma, 39, Reed Chenworth.
Reed Chenworth. A ground out back in the first and a strikeout in the third. With 1 on and nobody out. Big lefty. Fastball is swung on and missed. 0-1 to Chenworth. DeBar takes an extended look in. Agrees with the sign. Chenworth squares to bunt, offers. Strike 2. Left the bat out there a little too long, Alex. When you square, if you don't like it, you better get that bat out of the hitting zone, or you're going to get rung up. That's exactly what happened there. The DH Chenworth, who's 0 for 2 on the night. Garcia over at first, taking a huge lead, pops straight up. And it hits the top of the Kleinseller's barrel room solidly. 0-2. We'll do it again.
That was a loud souvenir.
That was loud. Wait till you hear one hit the top of the stadium. That hasn't happened yet. Your ears will be ringing. Get a few of those this season. Here's the 0-2, and DeBar fires it over to first. Garcia scurries back, but DeBar was serious about it. He didn't lob that one over. He brought it at about 92 over to first base. Here's DeBar. Chopper could be 2. Boyd takes it himself, steps on second. High throw to first. Johnny Woodard comes down on top of the bag, and it's a double play.
Outstanding play by Boyd. Didn't need to flip it to Kiriakos. Took it himself. And he's got a strong arm from short, able to shoot down Chenworth.
Number 9, Gary Stauff.
2 down. It was very close at first. Actually, it wasn't that close. But the big fella did have to jump up. And it just so happens that when he came down, he landed right on the bag. Gary Stauff now, hit by a pitch back in the second, stranded at second base. And then a grounder to Kiriakos at second in the fourth. Takes across the knees for a strike. Derek Fox is on deck with the catcher, Gary Stauff. DeBar with 2 out. Fastball is fouled back right between the legs of Matt Cavanaugh, the catcher. 0-2. This game moving along pretty briskly, Alex. Just the 1 run scored and several 1-2-3 innings. Here's DeBar, breaking ball. Ooh. Taken. And Stauff, I think Stauff was lamenting, why did I not swing at that pitch, but in fact it was called a ball.
That was a good pitch by DeBar. And it's turned into a pitcher's duel.
That's a good call. You got DeBar and Gonzalez. Both guys going deep into the game, and here it is. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And DeBar looking pretty strong here. He ends up getting him out in order, as it turns out. And I'm sure that we are going to see the Marin TV instant replay of that tremendous strikeout by Nick DeBar. He had 70 strikeouts versus 49 walks last year. Did DeBar. And here's the replay. And we all know what happens, but it's nice to watch it again.
If you're interested in becoming a host family, please go to the guest services desk for more information.
So good.
Got him.
All right, got him again. I don't know why I keep saying that. It's so fun. It's not funny, but
I'm laughing.
I like it every time. Bottom of the 6th inning coming up, fans. It's still 1-0 in favor of the visiting Stompers. Evan Boyd, Michael Orifice, and Johnny Woodard, the big fella, right here on Marin TV's coverage of the 2014 San Rafael Pacifics. We're right back.
I'm Cha-Cha.
Cha-Cha, and tell me about yourself.
What do you want to know?
What do you play?
I play, usually play right field.
Yeah.
And hit in the 6, 7, maybe 8 spot.
Got a hitting streak going or anything like that?
No, I had a no strikeout streak going there for a while, but then I struck out against in the doubleheader that we had down in Fremont.
How'd you get your name, Cha-Cha, anyway?
He's anointed to me by Buttercup and the team. My real name is Charles Ackerley. I'm an architect here in San Francisco, and born and raised in Bakersfield. And love to play baseball, and heard about the vintage team last year, and here I am.
Who's Buttercup? Buttercup? There's Buttercup. Right there.
Here to skipper the team to victory.
And just in time for Evan Boyd to make his way out to the hitting area here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Boyd takes for strike 1. You wouldn't know it because the camera's not on the field. Now it is. There we go. And he takes again, and it's 0-2. It's nice to get some airtime, but when the game's going.
Yeah, gotta get the audience the action.
I'm sure they like looking at you close to the camera. And he fouls it down the first base line. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Swanee in the foreground, but when when the action's happening, then I think we probably want to keep the camera on the field.
Oh yeah, I'm in agreement.
0-2. 3 pitches so far to the first-year Pacific shortstop, Evan Boyd. He'll be followed by Michael Orphis and Johnny Woodard, the big fella, here in the bottom of the 6th. Next pitch is chopped toward third. Renardo comes in on it and over to Carranza. 1 away.
Renardo can play. He's got a great bat, charged that ball well, strong arm. He's a good player for the Stompers.
Michael Orphis now. Orphis with a hit back in the 4th, stranded at third base. And he stands in, a left-handed batter, and takes low, ball 1. The big fella is going to get a chance to bat as Orphis chops it foul off of home plate. 1-1. 1 away here, bottom 6. Gonzalez looking very strong, the right-hander. In the dirt, 2-1. It seems to, it's not so cold now. Maybe the absence of any breeze whatsoever. Seems like the temperature's come up a little bit. Fastball is away, 3-1.
And we're not complaining at all about that.
No. In fact, that happened quite a bit last year where the later innings seemed warmer than the middle innings. And we talked about it on the air quite a bit. A line shot over to first, taken by Carranza, 2 away. What a play. These Stompers can play some defense, Swanee.
They can, and that's the second hard ground ball to Carranza, and he's had no trouble with it.
Here's Jay Smooth.
They need something here, something to spark.
Smooth takes a curveball high. Strike 1. Matt Cavanaugh's on deck. Stephanie Kirkman, one of our radio sponsors, just came by and said hi in the television booth. Pops straight up. First base side, Carranza runs. And Carranza reaches up over his shoulder and barely pulls it in. We'll see what that looks like on instant replay. Carranza came in, overran it a little bit, Alex, and then had to reach over his left shoulder and haul it in. And he robbed Johnny Woodard, and 1, 2, 3 go the San Rafaels on a pop-up over to 3. Let's take a look at this instant replay before we go to break. And here it is. Let's see if they got a shot of this. There's the big fella, and he popped it up 1.5 miles in the air. And then in comes Carranza. And, hard to see on the replay, but it really was tremendous. We'll go top 7. Swanee will be back on the play-by-play. It's going to be Derek Fox, Jace Ray, and Matt Marquise. A 1-0 game here at Albert Park in downtown San Rafael on Marin TV's coverage of the 2014 Pacifics. We'll be right back.
You're watching Marin TV.
Top 7 from Albert Park. Pacifics trail 1-0. And it's going to be Derek Fox, the left-handed batter, to lead things off for the Stompers. He's 0 for 2. And DeBar is still out there going strong for the Pacifics, trying to get through the 7th and earn himself a win. First pitch grounded to Woodard. He bobbles it. Covering is DeBar, and he's able to put away Fox, 1 away. And now the top of the order will take place as it's Jace Ray, who's 1 for 3, and he singled in his last at bat.
The Stars hurt themselves again in the bottom of the 7th.
And that's exactly what you wanted if you're Nick DeBar. A quick ground ball from Fox, 1 pitch, 1 out.
The defense was so unpredictable that even our camera crew was a bit confused.
The Pacifics held on to the shutout for a 4-0 win, improving their
Ray's
position
set,
record
digging
to
in.
22-6. That's it for this TV game recap. I'm Janet McFarrow.
And DeBar's first pitch to Ray is outside for ball 1.
And also learn more about this sports broadcasting.
Marquise is on deck.
See you next time.
And Ray's going to try to do anything he can to get on for Marquise, especially with his speed. 1-0 to Ray as the slider is down and in. 2-0. Ray's one of those leadoff hitters where he's got a little bit of pop to his bat as well. 2-0 pitch is swung on, grounded to Kyriakos. He's got it. 2 down in the inning as Matt Marquise will come to the plate. He's 1 for 3. He's got a stolen base and the only run scored for the Stompers in the top of the first. And Marquise has been drafted by the Red Sox twice. In the 41st round in 2011, and prior to that in the 28th round in 08. First pitch is a strike to Marquise. And it's 0-1. And that missed low and away off the plate, 1-1. DeBar looks in, and a swing and a miss from Marquise. He came right after him. 1-2 to Matt Marquise. 4 hits for the Stompers, only 1 run. Surrendered by DeBar. And that pitch misses wide. 2-2. You see 1-2 on the telecast, but the scoreboard does have it at 2-2. And DeBar would love to leave Renato on deck stranded there. 2-2 to Marquise. Broken bat. Slow nub to Kyriakos. He gloves it, able to underhand flip to Woodard in time to get Marquise. And Kyriakos is as solid of a second baseman as you're going to have in this Pacific Association, and we'll get another look at that play.
Alex, you and I were talking about the tremendous defense of the Stompers. Well, how about that? Little demonstration of some great defense by the San Rafaels. Most notably, Kyriakos. That last play, the shattered bat, he had to charge in on it and underhand it as fast as he could. Here's the instant replay. As DeBar comes, you'll notice the shattered bat, boom. And that underhand just barely got him. A good stretch by Smooth over at first base, Johnny Woodard. And we'll go to the bottom of the 7th inning.
What's at stake today?
Playoffs. If we win, we're in. If we don't, it's the last game of the season.
Who are you playing?
Oakland. We've beat them once in the past 4 years. But that was the last time we played them.
Everyone knows where they're playing, right?
Everybody stretch.
No lineup card.
Matt Cavanaugh leads things off here in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's a
yeah,
one-run ball game, and he powers
Who's
one
missing?
Well, we had a guy
near
last
home run
year, Britt,
distance
who
down
came
the
from New York.
right field line, but foul.
And he pitched.
Cavanaugh behind in the count, 0-1. It'll be Cavanaugh, Pace, and Fontaine here, bottom 7. Both starting pitchers still out there, still throwing strong, no action in the Stompers bullpen. Little something doing in the Pacifics. Cavanaugh behind in the count, 1-2 now. Gonzalez, curveball, lifted to left. Jones can't get to it. Jones came in, Garcia went out, and it fell right between them. And Cavanaugh opens up the bottom of the 7th with a base hit.
They just had a little number in betweener, fell right in between Jones and Garcia. And you were talking about that Bermuda Triangle in right field, where he was able to split that in left field. And that's what you need if you're the Pacifics.
Gonzalez against Pace. Warming up in the Pacific's bullpen is, it looks like 45. Hard to read. That's Lofgren. Pace bunts it up the first base line. It's a beauty. Underhanding toward first is Carranza. He came in, and Gonzalez started to run over to the bag, Alex. Instead, the second baseman, Derek Fox, came in behind, and Carranza fielded it and then double clutched. Everybody safe. Pace is aboard with an infield hit, a bunt hit. And now the Pacific's got a little something going, and a mound visit. And this could, well, I don't know if Gonzalez is going to get yanked here, but they're playing hit the road here at the ballpark. And it does look like there's a lot of action down all of a sudden. Frenetic action. Everybody's up, going crazy in the bullpen for the Stompers. A 1-0 game, 2 on, nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. San Rafael's would love to come barreling back now. Ray Serrano leaves Gonzalez out there, but you know he's on a short leash.
And that was a perfect part by Pace. And like you called, Gonzalez started over. And I don't know if him or Fox, whoever could have made it there sooner, Pace looked like he was going to beat it out regardless.
Yeah, Pace is so fast, and he dumped it in that no man's land. I think you're right. Regardless of the double clutch, I don't think he was going to get him anyway. Chase Fontaine now with a chance to tie it. Runners at first and second. Fastball misses. Fontaine ahead in the count, 1-0. Charlie Stewart is on deck. Fontaine, the left-handed batter, nobody out here. 4 hits, 1 run for the Stompers, 4 hits, no runs for the San Rafaels. Gonzalez flips around and fakes a throw to second. Diving back in is Matt Cavanaugh. Pace over at first after beating out the bunt single. Fontaine ahead in the count, 1-0.
We'd like to remind you fans that that
Slider is a little bit low, 2-0.
That's big. Fontaine has worked himself into a hitter's count. Big inning here. They got to get something going. If you're a Pacifics fan, you want to see him tied up.
Fontaine skies one to left, but not very deep. That kind of a tough play for Aritz Garcia, who came up. Renardo chased after it. He turned around and went after it, and then at the last second tried to get out of the way. An unproductive out for Fontaine. No one can move. A pop-up over to 6, one away. Here's Charlie Stewart.
And it seems like whenever Gonzalez really needs to get an out in a jam, he's been able to do so.
Bottom of the 7th is brought to you by the Magnolia Terrace Summer Concert Series. Unauthorized Rolling Stones this Sunday. Plenty of free parking. One away, Gonzalez, curveball, taken to Charlie Stewart, ball 1. Stewart 0 for 2 on the night with a couple of grounders. Fastball is lifted into center field. Jace Ray to his right. Kyle Jones, the left fielder, is to his left. Spears it, spins, and throws a dart into Aritz Garcia, the cutoff man. 2 down. No one can advance, Alex.
Stewart got a good swing on that ball. And Jones and Ray nearly collided. Jones did well to call it off and make that catch. But here's the man, and this is where the Pacifics really need a clutch 2-out hit.
Michael Hoba will bat in place of Simon Correa. Correa was 0 for 2 on the night, and here's Hoba. Curveball is taken, strike 1. Hoba, the 2012 MVP. Hoba, 37-game hitting streak back in 2012. Had a decent 13. Chopped grounder up to second base side, underhanded by Derek Fox. And Gonzalez gets out of a 2-on, nobody out jam, Alex. And you know, when it's your night, interesting things happen. And one might suggest it's the Stompers' night. To get Hoba there, coming in as a pinch hitter, it was a great opportunity for Hoba to do something wonderful. I'm sure we're going to see the replay on it, but frankly, as a Pacifics fan, I don't know if I want to. Here's the replay. We'll see it anyway. He didn't get much of it. He just sort of fisted it over to the right side over to Derek Fox, who then was able to underhand it to the covering first baseman, Carranza. Well, we'll go top 8. It remains 1-0, Renardo, Carranza, Jones. When we come back, Alex Swan will be on the play-by-play with Marin TV's coverage of the 2014 Pacifics. We're right back.
And you would be?
I'm the sir.
The sir?
The sir, yes.
How do you do, sir? The sir umpire?
Yes, sir.
You're undertaker in another life, is that it? Or?
That is the profession, yes. I'm choosing.
Who supplies the cigars?
Today I brought my own.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's nice Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Calling the game.
Cool. All right. Well, tell me about the balls and the strikes and the rules and all that stuff.
So balls and strikes is a little different than modern day baseball. There's a low strike zone, there's a high strike zone, and there's both combined. And so the striker gets to decide whether he'd like low strikes, high strikes, or he just likes it over the plate and he can swing at anything. And so
you call him a striker, not a batter.
That is correct.
Huh.
And there are 7 balls for a walk.
7?
7 balls for a walk, 3 strikes and out. Catcher must catch the 3rd strike for an out. Let's see. Any attempt at a swing, even a, I guess, check swing is called a strike. hit by the pitch. It's a ball.
What, you don't get to go to the base?
Correct, yeah. And once you get in that batter's box, you got to stay there. The striker can step out of the box, but the hurler is still allowed to throw pitches, and so there's no time.
And here we are at Albert Park, top 8, Pacific's Trail 1-0. And in at third for Simon Correa is Troy Zawatsky, and Chuck Lofgren is in. In relief for Nick DeBar, as if you're a Pacifics fan, you can't ask for more of what DeBar did tonight. He only gave up 1 in the very beginning of this ball game.
4 hits, 1 run, 1 error for the Pacifics. Yeah, I think it was a fine showing by DeBar.
And so the lefty Lofgren will come in relief, and he'll face Steve Renato. And Renato, coming off a 3-for-4 performance, is 0-for-3 tonight. Couple of ground outs to Kyriakos. And Lofgren's job, try to get through this 8th unscathed and bring the Pacifics up to bat in the bottom of the 8th, only down a run. 4 hits apiece for each team. And the lefty Lofgren's first pitch to Renato is very high, ball 1. And Renato chops one. Tough play for Lofgren. Up the line. Oh, what a snab by Woodard, and they got Renato at first.
What a great scoop by the big fella.
Pouncing on that ball, Woodard with a big dig at first base.
What a spear
Now
by Woodard.
number 7.
Yeah, Lofgren had to come off the third base side of the mound and throw a 90-mile-an-hour seed and just hope that the big fella got it. And the big fella got it.
That was unbelievable. And indeed a seed. Now here's Joel Carranza. And the first pitch from Lofgren misses for ball 1.
Carranza's one of those guys just always dangerous.
On the inside part of the plate for strike 1. And you're right. He can go deep in any part of this ball game, and if there's a mistake, he's usually the man to capitalize. 1-1. And on the outside corner, Lofgren earns strike 2. To the Stompers fans' groan.
Yeah, you're not kidding. And there's a ton of them here.
1-2 to Carranza. He got him swinging. Kavanaugh will throw down to first as Carranza is retired, and there's 2 away in the top of the 8th.
Look at my scorecard here, Swanee, and I notice all the way back to the 4th inning, the Pacifics were able to defensively knock the Stompers down 1, 2, 3, 4 innings in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4 innings in a row. And now they've got 2 in a row here. It's been just great defense, back and forth, both teams.
Great defense and pitching. They just need to find a way to get those bats going. As Lofgren's first pitch to Kyle Jones is a strike. Jones is 0-for-3 as that pitch misses low, 1-1, and he had the line drive shot out in the center field where Zach Pace was able to run it down in the gap. As a fastball misses high and away, 2-1. And now inside, 3-1 to Jones. Aritz Garcia is on deck. (3-1) to Jones. And at the knees, a strike to pull this count to full. Jones played 2 years at Sonoma State and for the River City Rascals last year. Payoff pitch is in the dirt, and he walked him in a 2-out walk. will allow Aritz Garcia to hit,
Now batting for Sonoma, number 2,
as he is
Aritz
1 for
Garcia.
2. He's been hit by a pitch, and he's singled up the middle. And he's a good defensive player as well. Him and Boyd, both good defensive shortstops. So Jones at first. And Lofgren pours in a strike at the belt, 0-1.
First we've seen a Lofgren in the regular season. He's looking very strong.
And way up and in, and it gets Garcia in the back. And that's his second time he's been hit tonight.
Right in between the shoulder blades. He turned away from it the way he's been taught since Little League. But it's got to sting either way when the temperature is down around 50 degrees.
And that's going to bring to the plate Reed Chenworth with 2 on. A 2-out walk to Jones, and now a hit batter. And Garcia's at first. Chenworth, the lefty, takes a breaking ball low and away. Chenworth lined into a double play last at bat. And he asked for time. Lofgren trying to get out of this inning. 2 on, here's the pitch to Chenworth, and it's in there for a strike to even the count at 1-1. Infield back, 1-1 to Chenworth. Is at the knees and on the outside corner for strike 2. Here's the 1-2 to Chenworth, and this is way high. It goes off the backstop. Karam's back to Kavanaugh, but both runners will advance. And that one just got away from Lofgren. And now Chenworth's got a chance to really do damage. Stauff is on deck if this inning extends. 2-2 to Chenworth. And in the dirt. And now back-to-back full counts.
Pretty good work by Kavanaugh there. Anything squirrely. And the runner's coming in. They've already advanced as a result of things getting squirrely.
Full count to Chenworth. Lofgren's trying to get out of here. And it's low and an easy take. Chenworth is on, and now they're loaded. And it's going to be Gary Stauff with the bases loaded. And now, after Lofgren has retired the first 2 batters, he's in a little bit of trouble here. And Kavanaugh is going to talk to him, and now Jesse Smith's going to make his way out on the mound and probably just try to calm him down. And this is a big at-bat here to try to keep this game at 1.
Nothing doing in the Pacific's bullpen. Jesse Smith, of course, the pitching coach and the ace of the rotation. Got the opening night win, 5-4, did Smith. But I think you're right. I think he's just out there having a few words, a little encouragement. Say, come on, Lofgren, now you got 2 down. Bases loaded.
Now batting for Sonoma.
You haven't made this any worse.
Gary Stout.
Let's just get out of this. Stout, number 8 hitter.
Jones at third. As a first pitch to Stauff just misses inside. Jones at third, Garcia at second, Chenworth at first. All coming with 2 outs. Lofgren working hard. 1-0 to Stauff, now 2-0.
Now he's going to have to reestablish command with the home plate umpire.
And that's absolutely right. When you start missing, the zone gets a little bit smaller. 2-0 and a big pitch here, and it's in there at the knees for a strike. And Lofgren needed that one.
That's exactly what he needed.
And Stauff's doing the smart thing. He's making Lofgren come into the zone.
You're absolutely right.
2-1. And it's low. 3-1. And now Lofgren is in danger of walking in a run, and at this juncture of the ball game, that run is crucial. He's got to come in here, 3-1.
It's going to be sitting fastball.
And it's a high pop-up, foul territory, and this will go into the seats. Down by Jane's Cafe. And it's another full count, 3-2.
Well, that didn't miss us by much. Popped it a mile in the air and right here up the first base line. Yours truly and Alex Swan, that was only maybe, I don't know, 5-6 yards away from us. Alex, you could have made a play on that.
If I hopped up, put the mic down real quick, brought my glove, maybe I could have. It's full to Stauff. They're loaded. Nowhere to put him. Here's Lofgren, the pitch. And it's fouled away. And they'll do it again.
Did you hear that one hit the top of the stadium? First one of the season. Full count.
And they're battling.
They are. And there's absolutely, as you said, nowhere to put them.
Lofgren looking in. And he steps off the slab. As the runners took off last pitch, they'll be doing the same again. Here it is to Stauff, and it's very high, an easy take. And that's going to walk in Kyle Jones, and it's now 2-0 Stompers.
And that was too easy a take. You got to throw something in there to at least make the hitter think, and that was a mile high. And activity in the Pacific's bullpen.
And now here's Derek Fox. And the first pitch is a strike at the knees. And Lofgren was able to retire Renato. He struck out Carranza, and then he walked Jones, hit Garcia, walked Chenworth and Stauff. And that's where we are.
Looks like Dan Rogers is warming up in the Pacific's bullpen, Alex.
And he could be called on very soon. As that last pitch was in the dirt. 1-1.
So we go 1 run scored by the Stompers in the first. Nobody scores again until right there in the 8th.
On the ground, in the hole, Boyd dives, and it's under his glove. Garcia scores. Here's the throw home, and they got him! Chenworth is gunned down by Fontaine. 1 run does come in. It's 3-0 Stompers, but Fontaine keeps it at 3, and the Pacifics have some work to do.
Can you imagine that? What a play from Fontaine. He comes up with it in shallow left and throws an absolute bullet all the way home, and Kavanaugh applies the tag, and we'll see the play again right now on instant replay. There's the chopper through the hole into left. Now they're following the runner, unfortunately, with the camera. Now here comes the play at the plate, and take my word for it, Fontaine picked it up in left field. and threw it in, and Kavanaugh landed right on top of the runner. It was a great play, even though our wonderful instant replay really didn't do it justice. I like the replay when it works, Alex. Take it easy over there. We'll be back, fans, in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Pacifics are down 3-0.
You're watching Marin TV.
And it's David Kyriakos. And the Pacifics have a little work to do, down by 3. And Castillo goes with the submarine action in his windup and release. And the first pitch to Kyriakos is a ball.
Good work by Gonzalez. 4 hits, no runs allowed.
On the ground, Renato in at third. And there's one down in the inning as Kyriakos grounds into the 5-3 putout.
That was a little too quick for my liking.
And so here's Evan Boyd. And he is 0 for 3. And he'll look to get on and try to create some type of rally. Pacifics fans are hoping for some drama late. Here's Castillo. And a breaking ball. Wow. That's a tough pitch to track. And it's 0-1 to Boyd. As
a little splitter.
It was a filthy one. And he goes right back to it.
He certainly did.
And it got by Stauff.
Stauff, yeah, it was so filthy. It was breaking away. Stauff couldn't even handle it. Ton of movement. Big tail.
1-1 to Boyd. And that's down the line, fair ball. That's going to go deep into the left field corner. Boyd's going to go for 2. And that's where he'll be with a stand-up double. And he was able to go opposite field. He let that ball get deep into the zone, and a good piece of hitting there by Evan Boyd.
He threw him 3 splitters in a row. The first one was great. The second one, Stauff couldn't hold. He kept moving away, and finally, Boyd caught up to it, went opposite field, like you said, and just ripped it down the third baseline. It was just barely fair and rattled around in the corner. And that's what the Pacifics need.
They're in business. Here's Orphis. And he takes a strike at the belt. Orphis is 1 for 3. He singled up the middle in the 4th. Trying to bring in Boyd. 0-1. And that splitter again drops low below the zone. 1-1.
Kind of sidearming it. Castillo slings it in there a little bit.
Woodard on deck. Boyd on second from the double in a late time granted, given to Orphis.
Pitchers detest the late call, because once they're in their motion and then everything gets interrupted, they can easily get injured.
Orphis is back in the box, 1-1, and it's fouled off to the left, and Orphis was on that one. Behind in the count, 1-2. Castillo's at the belt. And that's hammered right at Fox. He makes the catch. He'll throw to second. Boyd got back in time, but Orphis hit that on the screws.
What a great jumping catch by Derek Fox at second. I thought for sure that was going to get down in right field. But Fox with some great hops. And really good heads up by Evan Boyd to get back to second base.
And here comes the skipper, Ray Serrano. And he might be looking at the lefty right now in his pen.
Lefties so far this half inning have hit Castillo hard, Alex, and nobody is capable of hitting it harder than the big fella, Johnny Woodard, who's up to bat next.
Woodard on the night, 0 for 2 and a walk, and Serrano's going to go to the pen. That's going to do it for Daniel Castillo. And it's going to be a lefty versus lefty matchup. And for the Stompers coming in, it looks like Yuki Sakama, the left-hander, 6'1", in to face Johnny Woodard. That's going to be the matchup, Sakama versus Woodard. He's going to get a couple warm-up pitches in here.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for the Stompers, 16, Yuki Sakama.
And we saw him in game 1. And he came in one inning of relief. Gave up a hit. Didn't surrender any runs. Boyd will be at second when action resumes. And Sakama's not going to overpower you. He's got a good slider, good breaking ball. He also has the 3/4 sidearm release. And that's tough for hitters to pick up. And that's who Serrano's going to go with. The Stompers scored 1 in the first, and they plated 2 in the 8th. And Fontaine threw out Chenworth to prevent the 4th run from scoring. And that's where this ball game stands now in the bottom of the 8th. 2 down, Boyd on second, and Woodard coming up to bat. Sakama's ready. Woodard's going to step into the box.
I think that Sakama has that sidearm release, and we'll see how the big fella responds, but I got to believe that Johnny Woodard is going to be able to see the ball very well coming out of the hand of Sakama. We'll find out. I just have that feeling.
First pitch to Woodard, and he's swinging. And he took a wicket hack, and he was looking to go over right field with that one. 0-1 to Jay Smooth.
You're not kidding. He really cleared the hips early and was just trying to tear it over that right field wall.
To Woodard. And a strike just catching the outside part of the plate, and it's 0-2 to Woodard, and he doesn't like it. 2 down in the inning. Woodard had to take a walk. Sakama a long look over at Boyd, and Woodard's going to call time.
Woodard does not want Sakama to dictate the rhythm and tempo of this final pitch. What could be the final pitch.
0-2, off speed is high to Woodard, 1-2. He drew a walk his last at bat. And he will be looking for something to drive. Outfield is playing him to pull.
As well they should. That's where his power resides.
1-2 to Woodard. Off speed, grounded to Fox. knocked down, and will retire Woodard. No damage done. Sakama comes in, and he's able to retire Woodard. It's 3-0 Stompers. Horn's going to have the play-by-play for the 9th. And when we come back, it's looking like Dan Rogers might be taking the mound for the Pacifics. And just as I say that, here comes Lofgren.
Here's the replay. Wait a minute. The big fella reaching for that off speeder when he's completely off balance. All right, fans, when we come back, top of the 9th inning, Pacifics are out on the field. Lofgren, as Alex mentioned, back up on the hill.
Marin TV is made possible by the generous support of Strict Law, representing the injured throughout the San Francisco Bay Area since 1980.
The top of the 9th. 3-0 Sonoma from downtown San Rafael. Lofgren, the big lefty. A fastball is taken for strike 1. Matt Marquez will bat second, and Steve Renato will bat third. He takes it outside a little bit to Jace Ray for ball 1. 1-1. Ray 1 for 4 on the night. A couple fly balls, a grounder. Oh, and he hit him right in the shoulder blade as Ray was spinning out of the way, Alex, and he just nailed him.
We saw Lofgren have a fastball go way high over Kavanaugh's head back to the backstop. And that time, another pitch gets away up and into Ray.
Matt Marquez now. Pacifics have just simply lacked spark tonight. They've had a couple of chances with 2 on and nobody out. Squandered both times. Marquez now scored that 1 run all the way back in the first inning that held up until the Stompers added a couple more in the 8th. Takes for a strike. And now a big chop. And he's behind in the count, 0-2. Renato on deck. Lofgren looks the runner over to first. Ooh, he just worked the outside part of the plate. Trying to get Marquez to chase, 1-2.
Good pitch by Lofgren.
That was a good pitch. See some activity down in the Pacific's bullpen. High breaking ball is fouled down the first base line and into the fence. We'll do it again. Looks like, if I'm not mistaken, Dan Rogers. Yeah. Rogers in the Pacific's bullpen, warming up. But Lofgren's in there right now, nobody out. Throws over to first. And Ray scurries back. One, two. In the dirt now, 2-2. 6th pitch coming up from Lofgren to Matt Marquez. He had that 1 hit back in the first. Since then, a walk, a strikeout, and a grounder. Very high. And now Lofgren's behind in the count, or at least it's full. 3-2, but Seemed like he had him in right where he wanted him. Now Lofgren's got a deal. Up and away, and he walked him.
He just doesn't have his command tonight.
And here comes Dan DePace. And I think he's going to have to make the call down to the bullpen because Lofgren's just ragged right now. And that's it. So Dan Rogers is going to come in from the bullpen when it's time for a change. Think Next Hair Studio in downtown San Rafael on G Street between 4th Street and 5th Avenue. When we come back, Dan Rogers will be on the mound here in the 9th. We'll be back in just a moment on Marin TV's coverage of the San Rafael Pacifics.
I guess check swing is called a strike.
Hit
by the pitch, it's a ball.
What, you don't get to go to the base?
Correct, yeah. And once you get in that batter's box, you got to stay there. The striker can step out of the box, but the hurler is still allowed to throw pitches, and so there's no time, and that's called by the captains.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's outs?
Yes. Well,
3 outs?
Hands.
Hands?
There's 3 hands per inning, yes, which is the equivalent of an out.
This is bizarre.
It is bizarre.
Oh, well.
And a run is called an ace.
An ace?
An ace. So when somebody comes around, touches home plate, that's an ace.
You know, I'm really glad I talked to you. This is going to help a lot.
Right on.
Okay, see you.
See you.
How many hands in an inning?
How many hands?
Chop. No.
We're here to be educated. So.
And now Renato is ready to step to the plate with 2 men on. It's Ray at second, Marquise at first. He walked and Ray was hit. Renato on the night is 0 for 4. And Dan's going to try to help out his teammate Lofgren. 3-0 Stompers, top of the 9th. First pitch on the ground, could be a pair, and it's bobbled. Boyd goes the short way to second, and they're going to get nobody. They're going to be loaded now for Renato as that was hit hard right at Zawatsky.
Now batting for Sonoma, Joel Alonso.
I'm thinking that's going to be ruled a hit.
Well, I don't know. It has not been put up on the board as a hit, nor has it been put up as an error. But it hit Zawatsky right in the breadbasket. Yep, an error. There it is, the second error of the night. And I agree with that because 9 times out of 10 he makes that play.
So E5, and they're loaded.
You want to be a professional third baseman, you're going to get some hot shots coming at you a million miles an hour, maybe faster.
Infield is in. And a strike at the knees to Carranza. It's 0-2.
Rogers has his work cut out for him here, Alex.
Trying to get out of the jam. Keep this lead at only 3. Curveball, got him. Carranza was out in front, and Rogers with a huge strikeout.
How big was that? The big high leg kick and the big sweeping curveball to get the cleanup batter, Carranza, who's just eminently capable. With the bases loaded, no less.
And so now here's Kyle Jones, 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Infield is in at the corners, and the slider at the knees is there for a strike.
Keep in mind that Ray and Marquise belong to Lofgren.
In the dirt, and Kavanaugh's been doing a very well done job blocking a couple balls.
That's what you expect from a veteran, though.
1-1. Ray at third, Marquise at second, Renato at first. That misses high and away. 2-1. Boyd and Kiriakos are at double play depth. Zawadsky and Woodard are on the edge of the grass. And a strike to Jones. It's 2-2. Mike Jackson Jr. is in the pen for the Stompers. He got the save last night. Rogers is looking in, trying to work out of this mess. 2-2. Got him swinging as he struck out Carranza, and now he's got Jones, and he's 1 out away from getting himself out of here, and the Pacific's down only 3.
Garcia.
Boy, Lofgren would just love to see Rogers be successful here, since those 2 runners out there are on his record. Lofgren would love it as much as any Pacifics fan anywhere. It's a good pitch.
And that was a splitter that just missed. 1-0. Garcia is 2 for 2. He's got 2 singles and he's been hit twice. Rogers delivers in a high pop-up for Woodard. He's got room. He makes the catch. Dan Rogers gets out of the bases-loaded jam with nobody out. Pacifics have 3 to tie, 4 to go home. And we'll see a replay of Woodard tracking that down in foul territory.
I can't wait to see this replay.
And excellent work by Dan Rogers.
Marin TV's replay coming up here in just a moment, folks. Any second now, it's going to flip over to... and here it is. That's why they call it instant replay, because it's practically instant. There it is, the high pop-up and smooth to his left. Look at Johnny Woodard pull it in. What a great way to finish it. That's not a tough, that's not an easy play. It's a very difficult play, but smooth made it look smooth. I think that's the reason they call him Smooth.
It's a perfect nickname.
Among other reasons, I suspect. Matt Cavanaugh, Zach Pace, and Chase Fontaine in the bottom of the 9th, 3-0 when we come back.
You're watching Marin TV.
Marin TV is made possible by the generous support of Good Earth, dedicated to the health and sustainability of our community since 1969.
The Pacifics down to their final 3 outs. 3-0. Visiting Stompers. Stompers not only get their first win in franchise history last night, but then should they hold on here and win tonight, their first series in franchise history. A lot of firsts when you're a new team in the league. Matt Cavanaugh stands in and takes a ball. A little low against Mike Jackson Jr. Jr. delivers a fastball, swung on by Cavanaugh in the dirt, 1-1. Last season, Mike Jackson struggled when he was over in Vallejo. But the general manager, Theo Fightmaster, says that Jackson's really got his command down. Cavanaugh swings at a splitter, 1-2.
And he's got the combination fastball splitter. And when you're a closer, you just need a couple pitches to be deadly.
Zach Pace on deck, and he'll be followed by Chase Fontaine. Now remember, fans, last night Fontaine had an opportunity to win it. He represented the tying run in that 4-2 loss. He had a runner on first. Here's a single up the middle, a base hit by Cavanaugh, and the Pacifics have a runner on. And that's exactly what the Pacifics need.
Now batting for your Pacifics, Zach Pace.
So the right-hander, Mike Jackson Jr., roughs up the ball, and he'll face Zach Pace. Pace, one of those clutch guys, type of guy you want up in this situation. Pace buckles away from a fastball. Called the strike. Jones in left, Jace Ray in center, and Matt Marquise over in right. Chilly night out here, no wind at all. Fly ball to center. Ray backing up at the fence, and he hauls it in, and Kavanaugh's gonna have to retreat one down.
And Pace was sitting fastball, he got it. And with if it's not for the speed of Ray, Pace has extra bases, but Jace Ray covers a lot of ground out there in center field as the captain.
And Pace can hit for power, and he demonstrated it right there. If Ray, as you mentioned, didn't reach up and make a fine play, that was going to land at the base of the wall. And that wall's 370 feet away. Here's Chase Fontaine. Let's stay away from the double play. Mike Jackson Jr. heaves it over to first base. Covering is Carranza. Kavanaugh dives back safely. Jackson looks in to the suggestion from Strauff. And it's fouled off. 0-1. Fontaine 0 for 3 on the night. Couple of grounders, a pop-up. He's due. Fontaine did have a rough preseason, batting 158, 7 strikeouts. Splitter is swung on and missed. 0-2 to chase Fontaine. Charlie Stewart is on deck.
And that splitter is just dirty. Falls off the table right when it gets to home plate. It's tough to pick up the spin too as a hitter.
Oh, 2 now. Oh, inside part of the plate, and Mike Jackson Jr. does not get the call. Well, that was close. Tough take there. 1-2. He was hoping that Fontaine would chase, but he held up. Here it is. 1-2 across the knees. Got him looking. And that hurts. 2 down. Fontaine knew it. He didn't argue it because it was a superb pitch. Had him completely frozen, and you can't ask for more than that as a closer. Charlie Stewart, the last chance for the Santa Fells with a man on. Down 3-0. Stewart, a fastball, swung on and missed. Strike 1. Troy Zawatsky is on deck. Should Stewart do something wonderful like get on. 2 down, 3-0 Stompers, bottom 9, here it is. First base line and foul. And now the Pacifics are down to their final strike. And Mike Jackson has a lot of room with which to work. He rubs up the baseball and looks in. Stauff with a sign. Jackson comes home. Breaking ball to second. Fox has got it on his way to first. Ball game.
Fans, here are the totals from tonight's game. For the Stompers, 3 runs.
For the Stompers, 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors, and the Pacifics, no runs. The Pacifics are shut out at home. 6 hits and 2 errors. And the winner is Eric Gonzalez. And Mike Jackson earns the save. His second, just like he did last night. Well, there's some pretty good ball played by the Stompers tonight. Alex, I was thoroughly impressed all 3 games by the Stompers. That first night, really the anomaly, and they barely lost it 5-4.
And I've been impressed with this pitching staff. Garcia goes 8 1/3 last night. Gonzalez goes 7 strong. And they got themselves a ball club. And coming in over the summer, I didn't think that the opening series was going to be taken by the Sonoma Stompers. They take 2 out of 3, and they do it convincingly.
Fans, our next televised broadcast on Marin TV will be Tuesday night. Next Tuesday night, and Alex and I will be here. I believe that is June 10th. And we'll have those games June 10th and the 12th. That's Tuesday and Thursday night, every Tuesday and Thursday in June. And we'll be right here on Marin TV. For Alex Swan and the rest of the broadcast crew here at Albert Park, Stuart Horn saying so long, saying, please drive safely. I say that to my partner.
Yeah. Thank you, Stu.
And everybody at the ballpark, thank you. And out there watching on Channel 30 for spending your evening with us and the Pacifics right here on Marin TV. Good night, everybody.